Hi, today I'm going to be talking about Plickers. It's an online formative assessment tool that allows teachers to collect real-time data, and all the students have to have is a piece of paper, and that acts as their clicker. I came about this app because in my school we only have one actual set of clickers, so I'm not able to use them very often. And I found this app online, and I thought that it would be a really interesting way to get the formative assessment in the same fashion as clickers, but yet it's more accessible to me in my district. This video is to show teachers how to sign up for the program, how to then print off the student Plickers, and create questions, as well as look at the actual data once you have had your students answer the questions. To start off with, you would click the sign up button, enter your first and last name, email, and password, and then click sign up. From here, you are then logged in and you get taken to the home page. It looks like this. They have a picture of a classroom, and you can kind of see in the background that the students are holding up their cards. These are their Plickers. They serve as the way to show whether you're answering A, B, C, or D. The way this app works is that you as the teacher go onto your computer, type up your questions, and then you will need to go on and print off student cards. So the cards look like this. This is actually a set of 2 cards. And so when I print them off, I cut them in half, and each student gets one of these. Every box has numbers around them, so each student gets assigned a number. So this is student 1's Plicker, student 2, 3. There's about 65 of them, so there is enough for multiple classes. My classes, I've assigned every student has one, but I start over with every class. So I have 4 classes, and each of them have a 1 in them, and go through the roster that way. So every class has a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Off to the side of each side of the box, you see an A, B, C, and D. They're very small, and the idea behind this is that when students raise up their Plicker, they can't see what other students are trying to answer, and they can't copy off of them. So it's a true picture of what each student actually knows. The concept is that they hold up the Plicker so that the answer choice that they want is the only answer that is actually facing in the right direction. So right now, this card is oriented towards answer B because A, C, and D are either sideways or upside down. If the student wanted to select answer C, they would then turn their card so that C was the answer choice that was facing up at that time. So every student gets one of these Plickers. From here, when you go to your classes, you can enter as many classes as you want. I'm going to go to the test class. And here's where you assign actual students to the Plickers. So I've entered in a couple of test students, and they're assigned Plicker 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. It's important as far as being able to look at the actual data that you give everyone their assigned Plicker, and that they don't switch their cards around. Otherwise, they will be getting someone else's data. You can then go to the library, and here's where you're entering your questions in. You can create new folders. I used this app the other day in my class for a number sense review that we did, and I entered in a lot of questions as far as true and false, and I had multiple choice questions. You can go in and create a new question, and you add your question text and say whether it's multiple choice or true or false. Enter as many answer choices as you would like, A through D. You can have 2, 3, or 4. And then it is also nice to check the correct answer, because then those students that ring in with the correct answer will show up in green, and those students that have the incorrect answer will show up in red. Once you have your question, you then go to your phone or your iPad. Any mobile device will work. You have to have the Plicker app on your phone, and then you click on the question you want to use at that particular moment. So you go on and you'll see the screen that looks just like this. All the questions will be available. You click on that one and that you want, and then click scan. At that moment, you can then go up here to the live view. And for example, I have this question up on my phone right now in my 5th period class. And this is the question that's on the phone, and so far these are the students that have given their answer. So they've already held up their Plicker and given me their answer. As soon as their name turns to having a blue check mark next to it, then we know that they've already rung in and they're good to go. If at any point in time they want to change their answer, they just hold up their Plicker again and I rescan, and then that new answer will be the recorded answer. I'm going to go back to the home page and show you what it looks like when you're having the kids raise up their Plickers. So you can be standing at the front of the room and everyone holds their cards up, and then all you do is hold your phone up once it's in the scan mode, and you actually see on the screen, you can be far away, and as long as the children have their fingers away from the actual box, it will scan their card. Having selected the correct answer, you can instantaneously see the exact number of students that are getting the question right, who's getting it incorrect. Again, the incorrect is in red, correct is in green. It's a little hard to see, but on the left side of the screen, you actually have individual students' names, so that as soon as they ring in, you know the student got it right, the student got it wrong, you know exactly who is getting it correct, and then you can go over to those students who are getting it incorrect and make sure that you can help them and guide them towards the right answer or check their work to see what they did wrong. You can do as many questions as you would like, and once you have had your students answer as many questions, or I normally do as many questions as the period allows, then I go into reports. So you click on reports, and here's the interesting part of the app, the data part. You can actually click on any question for any class period and see who is getting the question right. For example, I'm looking here at these 2 converting fractions to long division problems, and all of my students in my 5th period class got both of those questions right. So to me, they have a pretty good understanding of that concept. However, if I look at this question, for example, -8 plus -4, only 5 people in the class got it right. 33% of the students got it right. Everyone else got it wrong. So I know that this is a topic that we need to review, or at least discuss a little bit further after we've gone over this question. The reason this one is showing up in blue, if you happen to not hit what the correct answer choice is, you will see all of your answer choices in blue. So the reason, if you ever see something in blue, it's because you need to go back in and select the correct answer, and then they'll show up as far as green and red. You can also, when you're in the live view, if you hit reveal answer, you can see exactly who is ringing in with what answer. I typically don't do this unless it's on my end and on my computer that the kids can't see, because I don't want them to be able to see who's getting it right and who's getting it wrong, and I also don't want them to be able to see what the majority is answering at that moment. I want them to answer independently. My kids really liked the graph part of this. Once we figured out everyone had rang in, I showed them the graph, and then we were able to reveal the answer. Until you reveal the answer, they all show up in blue, so we don't know which one happens to be right. Then once you click reveal answer, you know that A is the correct answer, and those were the people that got the question right. So they thought that was fun. The day that I used Plickers in my class, they wanted after every single question, they wanted to see, show us the graph, show us the graph. So that was really interesting for them to see. That's pretty much the gist of Plickers. It doesn't get really any more complicated than that. You just go into the library, enter your questions, and then have the students hold up their Plicker in the direction that indicates what letter choice they want to choose, and then going to the reports and seeing your final data and your results and analyzing that. I really liked looking at this. I used this 2 days before the test and had students answer the questions, and then that night I went home, analyzed the data, and then the day before the test we went over questions that the majority of the class missed or they seemed to need more help with. So that really helped me tailor and focus my review to specific questions rather than sitting there and having students review things that they have proven that they've already mastered. For example, this decimal fractions to decimals using long division. My students seemed to know what they were talking about there, so we didn't spend as much time on that the day before the test. Hopefully you learned something from this recording that you can take back and use in your room. I really like this Plickers app and think that it's very beneficial as far as getting real live accurate data, and the kids really seem to like it as well, so hopefully you can find a way to use it in your class.